Hello everyone, and today is a very special day indeed, because today is the 300th video on this channel. 300 videos, guys, and out of all those, I've done 234 reviews. That's if you take into account gaming reviews and somewhat of a book review and even TV shows on Netflix. And you may be wondering to yourself, Nick, why do you have these special goggles on? Well, today we're actually taking a little bit of a trip into the meme-verse. And today on Meme-verse, we're going to be taking a look at one of the oddest of things to ever appear on YouTube, Shrek Retold. So let's get into the Meme-verse. I really had nothing else planned for that. Back in around 2001, a little known film that was from a very small company came out and pretty much wrecked everyone's expectations of what an animated film could be. It was loud, it was crude, it was very, very critical of the former boss that Jeffrey Katzenberg had, and that was, in a sense, Shrek. And yes, this is my VHS copy. It's kind of fucking busted. But no matter. Shrek was one of those films that everyone really loved for some reason. It had Mike Myers, it had Eddie Murphy, and John Lithgow, and tons of other different actors and actresses being placed in there. The film itself played off as kind of a parody of Disney and their own tropes, to the point where now modern Disney tries to do the same thing to themselves, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But Shrek was one of those things that was destined to become something greater than its own self. Something on the same level as something like B-Movie. And, well, Shrek is the epitome of that. Ever since the age of the internet, there have been countless memes of Shrek all over the world. And one of the most popular was Shrek is love, Shrek is life.
It's Shrek. I'm so happy.
I don't like where this is going.
He whispers in my ear, "This is my swamp."
Stop!
He grabs me with his powerful ogre hands and puts me on my hands and knees.
Stop!
I am ready. I spread my ass cheeks for Shrek. He penetrates my butthole.
And Shrek himself was very, very popular in terms of the meme sphere. There was Rule 34s, there was blatant, fan art. But one of the biggest examples more recently is a little film that just popped up on the internet called Shrek Retold. Now, what is Shrek Retold? Well, as the name implies, and as the trailer says, Shrek Retold is a remake or a retelling of the classic Shrek tale. And it's done by over 200 different content creators, all with varying degrees of expertise either in animation or in live action production. And I gotta say, this is one of the weirdest what the fuck movies I've ever seen. Like, you can actually watch this for free on YouTube, and it plays off like a huge YouTube poop. Like, there's certain sections that are really done poorly, but it's also hilarious. And it's a very entertaining look as to how far we've taken such a beloved film and turned it into a huge joke. And that's what I think is so funny about Shrek Retold. Shrek Retold doesn't really give a shit about the original context. All it cares about is making the joke that it's already become the joke. And thusly, the entire film kind of changes the context of the original. Well, not really, since the original is a joke upon Disney, whereas Shrek Retold is a joke upon the joke of Disney. But one of the biggest questions I really have about the film, and yes, I'm taking this film a little bit seriously on this one, is how come this film does not violate any copyright issues? Because, in a sense, this is remaking the entirety of the film. So, what really stops it from being taken to court by DreamWorks? Well, it's very simple. Because you have so many different content creators taking out little tiny segments of the film and remaking them and repurposing them for the purposes of making a huge joke movie, You could say that changes the context of the meaning of why it's there, and especially since socially wise, Shrek has become the meme. So you could argue that, on a sense, it plays more of a parody of the parody. It wouldn't really violate the copyright rules. It's still fair use, because even if you were to take out a small portion of that film, you could tell it's very amateurish. You could tell it's done not for profit, because there's no ads on the movie. It's not done for anything. It's just done for the sake of telling a joke. And I wouldn't be surprised if this group of people went on to do other films like the Bee Movie, just to make fun of the films that we make fun of in memes. And I think that's kind of why Shrek Retold is so special, is because it acknowledges that we as a society, both on the internet and off the internet, have made fun of this franchise for so long that it makes sense at this point that someone on YouTube, or some 200 people on YouTube, would band together and make a retelling of the original story, just to make it a very funny joke for everyone else. Call it the ultimate meme, if you will. And that's what you get with Shrek Retold. Now again, I'm not going to give this film a score, because it's honestly, it's not really worth giving a score. It's not done well. There's a lot of segments that are really good. Like, you can tell there's a lot of effort in some of the stuff that's put in it. But a huge majority of it, like 90% of it, is not well done. But more often than not, it's the animation that kind of suffers a little bit here, because 90% of that is kind of bad. If you love Shrek, if you love the world of Shrek, if you think Shrek is a big meme, this is the movie you should watch. I'll link it in the description below in the YouTube description. It's also on YouTube, so if you don't bother with the link and just look it up on YouTube, it's on YouTube. Definitely watch it. I will say that this is best enjoyed if you are drunk, or if you have friends that are really enthusiastic about memes and looking at really bad stuff on the internet. So, yeah. That's my recommendation of Shrek Retold. Thank you for getting me to 300 videos. It's been a long road to get to 300 videos. And if you excuse me, I have another franchise to talk about tomorrow. And it's a very surprising franchise. So, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.